Yo, what's up, slimes? This is Smink. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the new Evil Dead film, Evil Dead Rise, which I saw on Sunday. I thought it was a very decent movie. It's not as good as the first two Evil Dead films, but it is a decent movie and it is a good sequel. One thing I really liked about the film was the setting. Unlike the other Evil Dead movies, which take place in a cabin in the woods, this one takes place in the complete opposite, an apartment building in the city. And even then, it still feels like an Evil Dead movie, which is good. I am going to be getting into spoiler territory here, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, I recommend you watch it and then come back to the video. So, in the movie, there's a lot of foreshadowing that seems very obvious. For example, there's a wood chipper in the parking garage for some reason. There's also some more foreshadowing that leads to really obvious events, and if the foreshadowing wasn't there before, it would make the movie more unpredictable. For example, there's a door in the parking garage that doesn't really open much. It's a crappy door. And it shows the characters struggling to open the door. They're pressing the garage door opener in their car, and it's not opening until they press it a whole bunch. So it really makes the audience go, oh, I wonder if something bad is going to happen in the parking garage. Alright, here's a huge spoiler. Spoiler alert. If you didn't leave yet, you might as well leave now and watch the movie. So, in the very beginning of the movie, this little girl basically gets a doll's head and puts it on a stick. It's like a full-on spear. And she said the spear, which, well, she named Stephanie, will protect her from monsters. She's all like, Stephanie will protect me from monsters. And later in the movie, one of her siblings is possessed by a deadite, and she's in her room, she lifts up the spear, and the deadite runs toward her and gets impaled in the mouth by Stephanie. Looks like Stephanie really does protect you from monsters. Even though it is predictable at times, it still is an original movie overall, and one thing I really liked about the new Evil Dead was the opening scene and the title sequence. So in the opening scene, it's a totally unrelated story of all of these friends who are like in college, basically going to a cabin in the woods with a lake. And one of these friends, there's something wrong with them. She's sick, right? But then it's revealed that she's possessed by a deadite. And she basically goes ham and fucking goes fucking wild, ripping scalps off of heads and doing crazy shit. There's one part where she grabs a drone midair and fucking puts it up to her face and she falls into the lake. And then there's this really neat shot of her levitating out of the lake, and behind her and behind the trees on the other side of the lake comes the title, Evil Dead Rise, just rising from the ground. And it's just so fucking cool. It's a really neat title sequence. Another thing I really like about the movie is Alyssa Sutherland's performance as Ellie, the mother. She does an exceptional job, especially during the scenes when she's possessed and all evil and shit. And it's creepy. It's genuinely fucking creepy. There's a scene in the movie where it's through the perspective of the peephole in the front door, and it's showing the hallway, and there's blood all over the walls. And just this crazy shit's going on in the hallway, and the mother's there tossing bodies around, going fucking ham, and the family is on the other side, inside the apartment, and all they can do is just watch, and it's fucking wild. The whole reason the Deadites start becoming a problem for this family in the apartment is because an earthquake occurs and it cracks a hole into the parking garage, and one of the kids goes in there and finds the Necronomicon. Even then, all the other characters are telling him not to open it, not to read it, not to bring it back to the apartment. But he does. He brings it back to the apartment, he opens the book, and the demon comes out, baby. There's another scene in the movie where the little girl, who's probably like 7 years old, is looking through the peephole to the hallway, and the mother, who's clearly possessed and evil and fucked up, is on the other side, and she's telling her to let her in. And she eventually does let her in. I know this character is a child, but even then it is a very stupid decision. Like, there's clearly something wrong with the mother. Why would the daughter let her in? I get that children naturally trust their parents, but even then still, the mother's all fucked up and creepy looking, and she's fucking going ham, so I don't know why the daughter would let her into the apartment. This movie, being an Evil Dead film, has a lot of absolutely fucking crazy, wild death scenes. This movie has blood, gore, everywhere. It's fucking crazy. There's people exploding and shit, just going fucking However, there is one death scene that everybody just laughed at, and that was the scene where the mother, who's all evil and shit, she's in the hallway and the neighbors come out to fight her. So she bites the eyeball out of one guy's face, and there's another guy who's like 10 feet away, and she fucking projectile spits this eyeball down this guy's throat, and he ends up choking to death. Other than that, the death scenes in the movie are very well done and are pretty gross. So if you're expecting a wholesome, colorful journey with bunnies, flowers, and rainbows, don't watch Evil Dead Rise, because the only color you're going to see in this movie is red. So putting this movie on Smeg's scale of sexiness, I am going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was a very neat film, a very good sequel, and it was very original overall. However, it's not perfect, and it does have some cons. But other than that, it's very enjoyable, a very entertaining horror movie. So if any of you guys want to watch a horror movie that's fun, entertaining, and also really, 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 really gross, I suggest you watch Evil Dead Rise. That's about it. See you, slimes.